It says we're live.
Yeah, I know we live.
Okay, hey y'all.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Please um, comment, subscribe. We do appreciate all the interactions. I know that y'all been rocking with us since for the past 2 hours because we was trying to get this all the way together.
Yep.
Um, and it wasn't working out that
But
way.
she-
So I really do appreciate all the time that you guys did spend with us. Um, but if you could go ahead and re uh re-interact with us. It helps our algorithm. It helps us get through what we need to get through, and it helps out our spirit because we was definitely feeling some type of way because things was not working out the way that it was supposed to be working out. So we appreciate all the interactions, and it definitely helps us out. I'm about to put some Palo Santo around me because I'm feeling some type of way, and yeah. So I'm lighting me some Palo Santo and getting myself together, all the way together, because I had to get YouTube all the way together
yeah.
because I don't understand what was happening just a few minutes ago. Um,
But we
so
got it. We got it on lock, and I'm glad that you were able to get it all situated. So, let's get into it.
yes. Um, so today's video is going to be about the smoking mirrors regarding Lisa Left Eye Lopez's uh life. It's going to be about her life, her legendary, um, not funny, but her legendary love life, and as well as her, um, what was it? Her life, her legend, and the legendary love life that we all knew about. Um, and so, like I said earlier, and if you read the description, when you think about it, it's kind of like Chrisean, Rock, and Blueface. And again, no shade. But when people say no shade, it's always just to prepare you for the shade that's coming.
Yep.
So, with that being said, the biggest difference is that Andre claimed her and their babies. Yeah, if y'all didn't know that, they had babies. Um, and yeah, and we have receipts too. We have a lot of receipts. But we're gonna go ahead and wait for some people to come in before we go ahead and start, so that they don't have to start all over. And we made them wait for 2 hours, so we can wait a little bit for them to come in.
Yeah, we're waiting on them.
um, did you want to say something while we waiting?
No, I just well, what I will say is this is something that has been a baby of ours that we have we conceived the project. We nursed.
Girl, no, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to but you could tell I've been through some stuff today. Look at my hair. Like my hair can tell you I've been through some stuff today just trying to get this together. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, just like when you conceive a baby, the idea comes to you, and you got to do some research, and the project is cooking, in the oven, if you will, and then you have the baby and you nurse the baby, and so yeah. So we have been working on this project since April, May ish of last year.
Hmm.
And our original plan for the project was for us to actually um produce a I want to say a docu series, but that's not what we're going to do. We're going to do a video essay.
Yes.
And we did attempt that. and
Attempted a lot.
yeah, yeah. And it didn't quite come out how we wanted it to. We didn't quite execute it to both of our standards. So we
Hmm.
thought a kind of a unique way to just at least pay homage to the legendary Lisa Left Eye Lopez, um, get some interaction from our community on this page, and hopefully, you know, and evolve and grow and be extended to people across the nation and the globe, who had a lot of love for Lisa. So we're gonna get into it. I see someone else has joined us as well. So
Okay. And please, I know that y'all been rocking with us for the past 2 hours while we was trying to get it together. As you can see, my hair has been through it too. Um, so please like, subscribe, comment, um, and all interactions are appreciated, because when you interact with us, then the algorithm takes us and keeps it going so that other people can join in on the live and make their comments and ask questions, um, and all that good stuff. So um, please feel free to go ahead, like the live. We're gonna wait for a few more people to enter, and then we're gonna start, because y'all been waiting for a minute, and I just want to give some time for the people that waited for us while we was trying to get it together. Um, but yeah, we have receipts, y'all. We have a lot of receipts on everything that we did, because we were working so hard on this project. And Yeah, so we have a lot in store for you guys today. I apologize for my dogs, because they don't know how to act, and they don't know how to read, so I can't tell. Shut
don't tell my babies to shut up.
up. So please like,
Yeah,
comment. All interactions are appreciated. Shut up. All
created it.
interactions are appreciated.
Yeah.
Um, and Yeah, we really about to get into it, because I feel like um, when we talk about Chrisean and Blueface, um, I feel like their story is similar to um, what was going on through what we're seeing right now through Blueface and Chrisean, except that they kept it more low key. Um, well, depending, because I mean, she did burn his house down, but that's a whole other story. We're gonna get into that too. Um,
Yeah, but it wasn't the play by play that we get today. Because
exactly,
of the
exactly.
social media influence and standing that people have today. You didn't see that too much in the 90s and early 2000s. So
Yep. And Yeah, so I do feel like if they were um, going through, or if they were in the time that we're in right now, they would definitely be having the type of media, um, I'm on live, that Krishan and Blueface have, and I'll give it to them. They capitalized off of that. They
oh,
capitalized off of that and turned that into money. So uh, Krishan, Blueface, well, Blueface, you in jail, so I don't know what you can do for me.
what
But
we did it for?
Krishan, she running from the police right now, so I don't know how much she can help either. But yeah, we just gonna
But
leave
that's
all that alone. We just gonna
that's
leave all that alone.
far off of what was going on with Andre and and
Yeah.
Lisa. They both had interactions with the law.
Yep.
He had to go to a diversion program, and I think he was locked up for, I don't know, a few hours maybe. Um,
Mhm.
but we'll get into that. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so we're gonna wait about another 5 more minutes. If you can let the ladies know one more time, please, for me, that we are up and running, and we are about to dive deep into their story, and all the things that um, we found out about their uh all the stuff that we found out about um, their not only their love life, but their story and their I don't think there's enough Palo Santo or sage, girl. I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough.
Yeah, breathe.
Mm-mm.
And we can always
So,
make this, a two-parter if we need to, because we had a lot of information, y'all. There was so much
mhm.
that we found out, so many things, just about how Lisa started, um and then we, because her relationship with Andre Rison was such a prominent, known relationship, we did a little research on him too. So yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of info for y'all.
Yes. So again, if you're just entering, please like, subscribe, comment. All interactions are appreciated. Um, and we're gonna give it about 2 more minutes um, for more people to come in, and then we'll just go from there because this will stay on the. Uh, it will be. It's being recorded right now, so even though we're live right now, it's going to be on our page. Um, so I'm gonna wait like another 2 minutes, but while we waiting, um, anything else you wanted to bring up? What has been going on with us? Well, oh wait, I do want to say something. So we haven't just been sitting around not doing nothing. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have definitely been working on some huge, huge, huge projects. Okay, it's about to be lit. It's about to be lit.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel very blessed to have um a hi.
Thank you.
Hi, Miss Shortness, Miss Thickness, Miss Everything, Miss Goddess. Thank you for commenting,
Yeah,
and and uh
patient and
and don't forget to like. You gotta like it. Don't forget to like
yeah,
it. Um
stay spot like it, please.
yes. Um and the like button is all the way, well, on my screen it's all the way at the top. Um, so one thing that we found that was real dope was so I am a poet. Rashida is a writer, and she's a dope writer. Like,
Well,
yeah, um,
and
I'm
she's a
I'm gonna
dope.
be I'm gonna be riding her, not literally, to the top. Okay, to the top.
Well, we're gonna ride this thing till the wheels fall off. Okay? Or till the wheels change,
And,
right?
yeah,
Magic
till the
order.
wheels fall off. Till the wheels fall off, and we still gonna ride um even after the wheels fall off. um you know how like you get a flat and you still be trying to ride on that. Yep,
Ride
that's
the
how we gonna do it. Mm-hmm. Exactly how we gonna do it.
rail.
um
Everything flying off of it.
everything. So one thing that I found that was so dope was that so she did this thing where she would, write um poetry and write music. And when she would write music, she would write pieces here and there.
Mhm,
And as we were going through some of her writing,
mhm.
um, it was so dope because I had came across and I'm gonna pull it up. We had came across a part that she didn't even realize that she had actually wrote like a dope, beautiful poem. And it's actually, and this wasn't a poem that she actually wrote. It was just pieces that we took from um parts that she had already written. And it is called well, there was no title for it because we just took the pieces together, we put the pieces together and made it into a poem. But it was just so dope to find those pieces and realize that she had came up with an actual poem. So it is: woman of my own and tranquilus key. No, I'm not just the L in TLC. To live is to believe, and to love is to receive. I'm trying to make my mark before I leave. Let me breathe. Energy never dies, it just transforms. Death is not the end, it should not be mourned. Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Now tell me she ain't dope.
But that was you too, because you were able to piece those, lines of hers together to make, a beautiful poem. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was her creativity and your keen eye as well. So shouts out to the sis.
Thank you. It is the poet in me. You know what I'm saying? I try to like, I try not to take complete credit for it because I'm a vessel for spirit and yeah. So
Well, you sewed that thing on together, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I
Pretend.
sold it because I knew what it's like to be able to have a because even when I was watching some of her documentaries, and that was a big reason why we wanted to do this, was not only to pay homage, but a lot of documentaries that they have about her. Now, see if y'all see me act a fool on here, I do apologize ahead of time because when you get irritated and you start scratching your head, but you're not really scratching, you patting because you're trying to get rid of the
Calm
energy.
yourself down. That's what they call tapping in therapy, when you
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna keep tapping so that I don't lose my mind.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so she would do this thing that I do when I write, and I when I write poetry, I'll write something real quick, and then I'll be like, I don't really know about that. I'm gonna leave that alone, and then I'll come back to it, and I'll be like, oh snap, did I write that? Oh, I must have stole that. And then I will Google it just to make sure, like I ain't steal it from that. Oh, that came from me. Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
But watching one of her documentaries on her death, um, was I realized that she would do the same thing where she would listen, like she would read it back to herself, even though it sounded so dope, but she was very critical. And we are our own worst critics. And
Mhm.
so um being able to like put it together was real dope for me because I do the same thing. So yeah, anyways, um so we want to make sure that before we even get into this, trigger warning, some of the stuff that is in uh what we will be talking about, um it is um it can be triggering, but um you know she truly believed in the light and the dark, and she was very much so a she believed in the yin and the yang, and she was so ahead of her time because there's so many people that are waking up right now, um and this is what she was trying to bring to the forefront before she left. um and so yeah, she believed in the light and the dark, and she truly embraced both of the light and the dark through her life and her spiritual journey.
Mhm.
um so yeah, we will be touching, and this is why we bring up the trigger warning. We will be touching on some of the things that um she went through as a child, as well as the things that she went through, um, or her family went through, which was addiction, the cycle of abuse. We're going to be taking a closer look at how Lisa and members of her family have been impacted by her addiction, or by addiction, excuse me, to alcohol, and the possible traumas that it could cause onto someone's mental health, as well as their social interactions, as well as their relationships. Um, so, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, jump in. So something that we put together, that I do want to read just to kind of get in the mood of Lisa and her element.
Mm.
Um, so the mere presence of Lisa Left Eye Lopez would intrigue you. Her explosive creative energy gave way to her charismatic, eye catching, quirky, eccentric, dynamic personality. Her rebellious spirit made her a trendsetter. She was one who never conformed to social norms. If you tried putting her in a box, you'd be prone to disappointment. Her elusive nature would evade your grasp. Left Eye's unpredictability made her a curveball. It was this dynamic energy that permeated the fabric of TLC, which set the group apart from their counterparts in the music industry. Um, she was described by IMBD as controversial, flamboyant, and spontaneous, and her bandmates agreed. Yet, above all, they would highlight how big hearted she was. And that was what we saw a lot in our research on Lisa was just, how out of the box she was, how she was so like such a trendsetter and just catchy, things that she would do. You would turn around and see other people doing, or you would try to emulate it. Like, I don't know if, many of our audience members grew up in the era of, the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s to the early 2000s, where, like fashion was such a big thing, and it still is today, but like the kind of fashion, like they were just so out of there, like Lisa with the, condom on the left eye. Like, who was doing that?
Yep,
But her
exactly. Such a dope way to promote safe sex, you
abs-
know.
yeah.
Um, and I think that was one of the most beautiful things that her bandmates actually said about her was that she was um, such a creative force. Now, not to drag the bandmates because it wasn't, TLC wouldn't have been TLC without T-Boz, Left Eye, and um,
Sure.
Chili. Um, but you know, I also have to say that with that being said, it's never been the same since Lisa has passed away because they made the group. And even with Little Mama, um, which was so crazy to see her do Lisa and get it on point after we saw so many clips of her with her family, her mannerisms. I mean, that when I tell you that girl must have studied the hell out of um, out of Lisa because her mannerisms got to the point where T-Boz actually said that she had felt the presence of Left Eye there,
Mhm.
like, and that's why they had brought her on stage to do some of the uh, songs with her
Mhm.
because she did the whole mannerisms when she was speaking, and she knew the hand movements, and even when Lisa was doing the dance, everybody could have been doing like this and doing it slow. Lisa was like you
her,
know
her
but
own
it just
on it.
yeah, it just made the whole thing so dope. Um so yeah, I think that she was such a dope human being, and I think that on top of everything else that she had did, one thing that we should bring up as well is her her family life, because they bring up some of the things that they bring up in the actual documentaries have a lot to do with her death and how it happened, and then they bring up like certain things that she went through with her family, but they don't actually tell like the whole story. So that's what we want to do today, and we're probably going to do it into a two-piece or even a three-piece, just because there's a lot of stuff that we want to go over. And uh, as you already know, me and Rashida, we are well, if you didn't know, now you know. We are psychics and mediums. So when I tell you this woman was like, if you don't hurry up and get out, it's gonna be me and you. And if you knew anything about Lisa, She was very much in that energy, angel and everything. Okay, she would be real quick to be like,
Grab you by your collar, even in spirit
"I'm
realm.
blessed from you." Okay.
She put the pause on you. Yeah, we got yoked up many a times, throughout
Yep.
this project by Lisa just to try to get the information out.
Yep.
And so we wanted to make sure that we did it right, you know.
Yeah.
Did
She
her.
guided a lot through the information because um
Mhm.
we were googling and going through so much of the um documentaries that we were like, well, how come this wasn't said? How come this wasn't said? But I know people do things, out of the views and stuff like that. And I get it. I get it. Everybody has to eat, but there's enough for all of us to eat. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I do want to bring up, we are going to get into the father part of it.
Mhm.
So we're going to start from the beginning. We'll go from there. So she was born in Philadelphia Naval Hospital. She was Cape Verdean, Mexican American, African American, and Portuguese descent. She was the eldest of three children,
Mhm.
born to Army Staff Sergeant Ronald Eugene Lopez, Sr., and seamstress slash fashion designer Wanda Lopez Coleman. Um, the pair actually had met while they were students at Germantown and Gratz High School, and they actually became high school sweethearts. Which I just want to say that I'm with my high school sweetheart, and I love my baby so much. So I just want to say that. Um,
It can happen for y'all.
it
I'm
can
serious.
happen. It can happen. But if they ain't meant for you, they're meant for you. Just keep it moving. Keep
Right,
it
right,
moving. Because
right. Sometimes people are a lesson,
yes, yes.
while
Because
others
my
are okay.
yes.
Sometimes you
Sometimes you
can be
got
a lesson and a blessing.
yeah,
Amen.
exactly, exactly. And um, I really do feel that with Lisa's parents' marriage, it was definitely it was a lesson and a blessing because I don't know if you guys know this, but something that we had learned in doing all the research and doing the deep dive, she was actually um, married twice to him. So Wanda, her mother, um, divorced him. She got tired of everything that was going on because at one point they had been arguing so bad. Um, well, he got drafted. Okay, so let's start there. He got drafted, and when he got drafted, um, well, Lisa's mother said that before they got before he got drafted, they got married because um, they were in love, and she wanted to make that clear, even though they had been through so much stuff together. She really wanted to make it clear that they didn't just get married because he was drafted. They got married because they were in love and they wanted to be together, and so he was drafted into the army during the Vietnam War. And if you guys know anything about the Vietnam War, that was a shit show to say the least. Okay.
Mhm.
And um, because of his musical talent, now this man was able to be on a piano, drop the piano, pick up a trumpet, put down the trumpet, pick up a saxophone. This man was a band all by himself. Now,
Mhm.
because of this, he was able to actually become. He was actually able to join the army band, and she hit Lisa's mother. She stated that she liked she likened her husband's time in the army as as a family affair, and she had felt like the household members were in the army. Now, if you listen to any of the videos that um, Lisa talks about, how her dad was a sergeant, he was one of those people that took his work home with him. Okay, and I don't really know. I can't really speak that much on to what people how people act, while they're in the army. I just know that you have time that you get deployed, and then you have time that you can come back. Um, and but I feel like once he got off of the army, that he took that home with him. It never like left. It always stayed with him. And they all felt like they were in the army. And now Lisa was considered, well, they were all considered army brats, um, because they traveled a lot while in their early childhood, and they were raised abroad, um, on different army bases. Um, and so, with that being said, now this is something also that's really dope about Lisa. Okay, um, because of her musical talent, like her mother's side of the family, they were fashion designers. They were creative, but they had a different creative side to them. So fashion designer. One of the uncles, I believe, he was a furniture designer, so he would change furniture, do all sorts of stuff. And in one of her videos, you can actually see, um, and I'm going to do some shorts too to add to this, so you can see some of the stuff that we're talking about. But they did a lot of her mother's side of the family did a lot of the art, and her or a lot of the creative part of it, which is like, the fashion design, all that stuff. And her father's side was the musical side. So uncles played in, uh what was it? Lisa's paternal grandfather was a saxophone player, Chick Cannyfield. He played with the Counts of the Rhythm at the Cotton Club and Savoy, which I don't know if y'all heard about the Cotton Club, but I heard that place was lit. Okay. Mm,
Yeah, it
mm,
was.
mm.
Yeah.
Um, and her paternal uncle Isaiah, Ion Caneyfield, he actually tap danced with the world famous Hoofers. Um, and then, as previously mentioned, her father, Ronald Lopez Sr., he played multiple instruments and was again, a band member of the Army band. And now, getting back to the dope stuff about Lisa, right? Um, they remembered that at how old was she? She was 7 months old. She was speaking, she was walking. That girl, okay, so you know how people say like you need to learn how to crawl before you can walk, before you can run. That girl didn't do that. She was like, "That who makes up these rules? I heard these rules before, so I'm a 7 month old baby, so y'all not gonna tell me what I'm allowed to do because children see everything as limitless." So she was self-taught by piano, 4 years old, okay, to the point of she could listen to a song, come home, get on the piano, play a couple keys, and she would get the song. I could get piano lessons for years and still not do that. I don't even know if I would be able to do a whole song, let alone come home and listen and be able to do stuff like that. So for her parents, even though they saw something very special about their kids, and all of her kids were very special, um, they definitely saw how different Lisa was when it came to her talents, because she was such a creative person. She literally had like everything from her mother's side to her father's side. Um, and One of the things that that came up that we also found out was that her of course her genetic gifts um catapulted Lisa into the role of a songwriter, but well, at the age of 10 years old, and she began actually writing songs for her and her siblings, and they were called the Lopez kids. Now the children enjoyed performing, and for their mother, when she returned home from work in the evening after she left his behind, because she finally left his butt because he needed to go, okay, after she left his butt, she moved to Florida. And when she moved to Florida, she would her kids would come home and they would have shows, and there's videos and stuff which I'm gonna put in there later, but I can't do it right now. So she would they would do whole shows for her. Now I don't know if it was more creative, or if they didn't have TV. And that's no shade. I'm just saying, because I ain't have them gifts, but I also wasn't, as old as she was at that time. So if I could have seen her on TV, I would have just watched the show. I wouldn't have put on the show. But that's what made Lisa Lisa and me me. You know. Um,
But she wanted to showcase her talents.
yeah,
She was practicing for an
girl.
audience.
Gosh, she was. She literally said to everybody, including her sister, that she was going to be famous. So she left her house at age 17, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you take it from here, and then we'll go back.
Well, just to go back just a little bit, the relationship between Lisa, Lisa's parents. So, um, Wanda Coleman and Ronald Senior, um, Lopez Senior. So it started off like any other relationship. You got your honeymoon phase, but I think the breakdown in the relationship occurred after he returned home from the Vietnam War. And based on a lot of the feedback that Lisa had given about how her father was behaving, specifically with his increased use of alcohol and his abusive verbal and physical abuse that he had laid upon her and her siblings. And
Well, and too.
I'm not even gonna say allegedly because this was from Lisa's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't really get all into the details of everything. But I think that that was a little bit of her wanting to protect her father because she was a daddy's girl, despite their somewhat oil and vinegar relationship at times. She was still really close to him, and
Mm-hmm.
but the dynamics between mother and father was he was abusive to mom, and so she left physically. So she left, and he was also verbally and physically abusive towards the children too. So they were afraid of him. So he went. They all. She picked up the kids, and they all went to Florida, and they lived there for 3 years. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he kept trying to find his way back. Okay, like Jaheim said, he was trying to find his way back to his family.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He finally, I think he had gotten into an altercation with a family member. This was when he was stabbed by a family member. He was in the hospital, and I think he played on Wanda's heartstrings.
He
And
sure did. He sure
when he
because
back,
she didn't want back, but
baby, I need to come back. I
mm,
need to come back home. And so her parents did get back together, and I think they remarried when she was like what, 12?
yeah.
Around
And the
that.
thing too, that the kids were like well Lisa's sister, um dang, I don't want to call her sister. What was her sister's name? Do you remember?
Rain.
Rain. Oh yes, yes, Rain. She said that she was upset that her mom was she got remarried because she felt like she was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think that plays with, um how back in the day, like, divorce was like such a taboo thing, and you needed to, people really needed to they felt that people really needed to work through their differences instead of just getting divorced, where you see nowadays, oh, people have a 51% chance of getting divorced, compared to 49% chance of, actually sticking it through. But I think a lot of that comes into play with, us figuring out our worth, and not not feeling like we are going to be conditioned into thinking that that's okay for us um to deal with, so yeah, anyways, keep going, girl.
So a lot goes into that, right? Sticking it out versus leaving. Um, but just in terms of their parents coming back together again, like I said, I do think that dad played on mom's heartstrings, making her feel bad for what was going on. And so after they got married, things were okay for a little while. And then those old habits and behaviors, came right back with a vengeance. um, and worsened. But by this time, Lisa was getting into that age and stage of what we call like smelling yourself, where you're
Smell,
becoming, huh?
smelling yourself or feeling yourself.
No, smelling yourself. That's what we say in the black.
No,
You smell
no, hey,
yourself.
please, please, please. I ain't never heard that before.
Yeah.
So explain that.
Yeah. So smelling yourself is like you said, kind of like feeling yourself. Like, oh, you're getting a little big for your britches. Like, you feeling yourself. Like you feel like you big girl or big man on campus, and you're starting to buck against your parents' authority.
Okay, like
Yeah,
the rebellious part.
exactly. And so she had already had that in her from the beginning, right? She
Mm-hmm.
was rebelling from, listen, I'm walking and talking at 7 months old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be no little baby. And so
Yep.
Lisa, her and her father began to bump heads even more. And he was like, listen, I'm big man on campus, baby. Okay. So you're not gonna be in my household doing what you want to do. You gotta follow my rules or you gotta jump ship.
Mm-hmm.
So he drove her. It's like he made her jump the ship by driving her to his mom's house. Um,
Mm-hmm.
having his mother raise her for a while. But that was like jumping out the frying pan into the fire for her. Um, because and we don't know much about his upbringing. But we do know from his army days and just his propensity to drinking alcohol that he had some of his own demons to slay. And then Lisa later talked about her grandmother and the relationship with her, and she described it as mommy dearest. Um,
Yes,
and
please. We gonna break that
you
down too,
know
because
about that
that
dearest, that Joan Crawford character from Mommy Dearest. And that's like that archetype is encompasses three different mental health conditions. One is OCD, one is bipolar disorder, and the other is borderline personality disorder. And so I'll just give a brief synopsis of all of them just so you guys can get a really good picture of what that means. So, obsessive compulsive disorder, obsessive is like thoughts, recurrent thoughts or themes that you think of that constantly play in your mind. Compulsions are behaviors that you try to do to curtail some of those thoughts from occurring or at least reduce the amount of them. So, like, for instance, your obsession can be contamination, right? You feel like, oh my God, there's germs everywhere. So your compulsion would be, okay, I'm gonna need to wash my hands 3 times in order to feel comfortable with going about my day, right?
okay, real quick. Anybody that is joining, please, like, subscribe, comment. We do appreciate um any interactions that you have with us, because this does help our algorithm. Okay, keep going, girl.
Okay. All right. So I was just describing the archetype of the Joan Crawford character from the movie Mommy Dearest. And I had already explained what OCD meant. So that's obsessive compulsive disorder. So we'll move on to borderline personality disorder, which is not an actual mental health condition, but rather a behavioral response or a way that we relate to one another. And that's how you adapt to, you kind of like adapt your personality to certain social interactions with people. And so if you are encountering someone who, let's say, they're an authoritative figure, um, because you've experienced that in your upbringing and you don't have a healthy way of coping with how you encounter someone who, has some challenging or challenged you in a way, right? So instead of responding in a healthy way, you've already processed it, you're, kind of um continuously responding in a way that is unhealthy in that dynamic. And you can dissociate, meaning you can kind of feel like you're separating away from it, like you're watching a situation happen instead of really interacting in it. um and you kind of have what we call like a push and pull. So sometimes you'll push people away because you don't really like what they're saying or how they're approaching you, and it's challenging you, and you're like, "Mm-mm, nope, that makes me uncomfortable, so I'm going to push you away." Or you really want to try to hold on to people because you feel like you're going to be abandoned. um so that's borderline
And
personality.
that with BPD, um, I was diagnosed with BPD. Um, so being when we did all this research, it really um, it really helped me because I thought, when you have uh, when you've been diagnosed with stuff, you tend to really feel like you're alone.
Mhm.
Um, and it helped me to like really relate um, to her story, and it helped me on my healing journey to feel like I wasn't alone. And then, um, while you're going over this, can you also explain your background in this so that they know that you're speaking from a place of professionalism because you have.
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys are first time viewers, you may not know, but I do have a background in clinical social work. So I have been trained in mental health, and I am licensed to provide mental health services to from 0 to 100. I can provide therapeutic services, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm just on here as the expert in the area. So just to let y'all know, I do have that professional background.
Mm,
To jump back into the diagnoses, so we just talked about borderline personality disorder, and thank you, sis, for sharing that. I appreciate you for doing that. Your bravery. And then for lastly, so for bipolar disorder, bipolar, so right, two different ends of the spectrum, right? So depression is one end of the scale, and then on the other side we have mania. And sometimes we cycle through both ends of that spectrum when folks are diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So, depression, you're listless, down mood, irritability, agitated, um, slow to respond. Those are some symptoms of depression. Mania is anger, still irritability as well, poor impulse control, difficulty engaging in meaningful interactions with people without, being able to control your mood. Um, and sometimes having difficulty with spending habits, wanting to do things that are like fast paced, like fast moving, dangerous situations that get your adrenaline pumping. Like those are the kind of things that you want to do. Um, so higher incidence of using substances as well. So we spent enough time there, but that's the archetype of the mommy dearest, and
mm,
that is who Lisa's father dropped her off to live with. Um, per Lisa,
mm,
dropped her off to live with grandma who was his mother, who had that mommy dearest personality type. So imagine she's coming from a household where she's seeing domestic violence between parents. She is experiencing childhood abuse, verbal and physical. She's seeing alcohol, the effects of alcohol dependence. Um, and then she's swiftly brought into a home with a Joan Crawford mommy dearest archetype.
Which I think was so interesting when we were doing the research on this, because if you guys just think of that archetype, right? What would make you think that whether your child was being rebellious or not, what would make you think that it would be okay for you to drop her off with someone that acted like this? Now, I will say, in my own speculation, this is my own speculation, after all the research that we did, I do believe that she did have some type of mental illness as well, because if you know that archetype. Hmm?
That she, you talking about Lisa or the grandma?
The grandmother. um if you do have that type of archetype on you, and you are trying to punish your child, that's a whole different type of level of punishment. Like, and this is why I said, like, it wasn't for me listening or doing the research on her story. It wasn't just physical, mental, it was emotional, it was um, physical, emotional, mental abuse, um, all the abuses that you could think of. On top of that, the father being an alcoholic, right? He didn't let her do anything, but this man thought it was okay for him to drop off alcohol to her, so she wasn't allowed to do anything. But one thing that she said in her documentary was that she found strange was that she was able to drink. Now, it's my own speculation that if you're dropping somebody off with someone that has an archetype like that, you would think to yourself, she needs something to cope, because he had a coping mechanism, right? His coping mechanism was alcohol. So why would you think that it's okay for someone that is what was she 14 at the time, 13, 14 at the
Yeah,
time?
13, when she went to go live with a grandma. But she did talk, remember, she talked about starting to drink when she was like 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, wasn't hitting it hard like she was when she was living with the grandmother, but it was acceptable to the father to be giving her alcohol at 5.
Yeah.
Um, Not appropriate. I don't care. I don't
Mhm.
care what culture you come from.
Yep.
Uh-uh.
Mm,
No,
nope.
no.
And you know, I know that there's people that give their child whiskey at 1 years old
Yeah, put it on the gums.
for the gums, right? And but those are two different things, right? So you punish her by sending her there, but um, you're basically rewarding her by giving her alcohol. But I don't think it was a reward. And I do think that, again, my own speculation, that because he would come and he would hype her up, and be like, what she says in her documentary is like, oh, look at her go. Like, and that hyped her up, like, okay, yeah, like, okay, I'm a drink. And she got to a point of when she was, uh, what was it, 14 or 15,
15.
where, huh?
She was 15 when she became dependent on him.
Yeah. So, and she got to the point of when she was 15 that she did not have a she had a high tolerance
Mhm.
for alcohol. That's crazy to me. So, in my own speculation of this, um,
Shortness, so that's wow, that's strong. It
now
sure
let's
is. Knocking baby Thompson's 82.
what? Put you on your behind, okay? Um, but it's my own speculation at um the fact that she was doing that, that she I think that she indulged in there with her and her father, well, her son and her granddaughter, um, because that's just my own speculation. Like, if you didn't indulge in it, wouldn't you have said something every time he was bringing over beer and alcohol?
Yeah, but then it's like, how much of that was for Lisa and how much of that was for him? What
And
meaning,
how much of that was for the grandmother or for the
right? But what I mean by how much of it was for him, because he's saying, "Look at her go, look at her go," like it was entertaining
yeah.
him. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So yeah, so I mean, when we think about the things that we later learned about Lisa, and of course we'll get into it, but her upbringing um, laid that foundation for who she became. While she had the background of the talent of music in her family and fashion in her family, and so that really cemented her core as an artist. The flip side of that was these traumas that she experienced in early childhood and her exposure, and her dabbling in substance that was socially acceptable to father, we know, and possibly her paternal grandmother.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a lot for her to endure. And thank you. I see somebody else has joined. So thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Share, comment, mhm,
Mhm.
all that good stuff. And we are talking about Lisa Left Eye Lopez and her background. So we've already covered quite a bit of ground here, but to catch you up, we're just talking about her upbringing with her parents and her moving off to her grandmother's home. So that's where we're at, and talking about her father was bringing in the booze for the little
Mhm.
Lisa to the grandmother's home. So all right,
Mhm.
back. Go ahead.
um so yeah, I think that there was a lot of, because at some point she doesn't really get into it, right? But at some point she said she got fed up and she had to leave. She had to leave her grandmother's house. And that's when she had received an opportunity, and her aunt, Karen Fekwa, um, was the one that brought this to light on The Eye is Right on Facebook. Y'all can see a lot of the stuff that it has a lot of our receipts on there. Okay. um but yeah, she had brought up the fact that she had ended up getting a well, before that she was doing a lot of talent shows.
Mhm.
um and in one of the parts she talks about how she really um well, they interview her at the end and she's like, remember me because I'm going to be famous. So she used to tell everybody she was going to be famous. She just knew that's where she was headed. So she would do fashion shows and she did not care what type of way she was involved, as long as she was involved. So if she was a model, that's what she was going to do. If she was going to be rapping, that's what she was going to do. If she was going to be singing, that's what she was going to be doing. If she had to be in the background, um, background dancing, that's what she would do. If this girl had to hold the lights to be back just so she could be part of it,
Mhm.
that's what she would do. Um, and she doesn't really get into what happened, but I do want to bring, just to bring it back a little bit. There was a part here that we had taken down, where she actually talked about um, their okay, getting back to the mom, right? When her mom went to leave, um, she stated, well, Lisa stated that during her teenage years, the family became separated. But what was so crazy was that, like, the family was separated, but it was more of Lisa was separated from the family. And Lisa was sent with her grandmother, like we talked about earlier. Um, and during that time, she her her mother wanted to get in contact with uh, Lisa. She wanted to make sure that she was okay. Well, Ronald was not having that. Ronald was like, I don't care how you feel about this. She's with her grandmother, and she's fine. To the point that this woman had actually, and I'm gonna read it from what she had put in the Eyes Right. So she actually reflected that he took her up to he wanted she wanted to ask and go get her daughter, but he refused. Um, and he took her up to the bedroom and said, "Lisa and my mother have a bond." Okay, this is where I go into the speculation of, well, what kind of bond was that? Because she made her go to school with wrinkled clothes. She wasn't allowed to wear any of her church clothes because that was for church and didn't belong to her because she paid for it. So you gonna make this girl go to school with wrinkled clothes, looking like she don't have nobody that really care about her, um, and she can't say nothing because you are literally going to tell her, "I paid for it, so you don't get to tell me what you can do with the stuff that I paid for." So anyways, getting back to Wanda, so she reflected in this article that he took her up to the bedroom and said, "Lisa and my mother have a bond," and Lisa asked me if she could stay around there, and I told her yeah. And I said, what are you talking about, bond? And she said, "What do you mean, bond?" And he said, well, she said he wouldn't let me out of the room, so we ended up in a fight, which was a physical fight. Um, it got to the point that she actually jumped out the window. Now, think about this. What the hell makes you jump out of a damn window when you're on the second story and it's raining outside?
You feel like you got to go save your baby. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she jumped out the window
Forget
and
the
hmm,
mother. I said, don't forget the mother. Um, so Lisa's mom, Wanda, and her mother-in-law, Miss Cheney Field,
hmm,
they did not have a good relationship. And so the mother's looking at it like, Wanda's looking at it like, well, if she's going to treat me bad, how's she going to treat my child? You know?
exactly,
And so,
facts,
go ahead.
exactly, facts. Um, so she she ended up jumping out the window, and the window was about the height of a porch. Um, and it was 11 o'clock at night, and it was raining, and she ran barefoot to Wanda ran barefoot to her grandmother's house, um, where she used to live at that time. And she was just boohoo crying, and she said all she could do was cry. Um, and her grandmother wrapped her arms around her, and she just let her cry. And to her, she she knew that she couldn't do anything. Um, but at the end of the day, I don't know what type of bond makes you want to run away. But all I know is that if I had a bond that was real, that wasn't a bond that was made um, from some type of substance, um, I wouldn't have ran away. Especially if I'm enjoying myself and I'm getting away with drinking, and that's what I enjoy doing. Why would
Mhm.
I run away? I'm getting. I may not be able to do much, but I'm getting a drink. And if I'm enjoying the drinking part, well, why would I run away from that? So
Mhm.
that just lets you know, like, there was so much more underneath the surface that was actually never talked about.
Mhm.
Um, but the fact that she ended up leaving like that, that lets you know. And I think that Lisa believed that she was running away from the chaos and the turmoil that she experienced at home, with her father's abuse, his emotional abuse, his mental abuse, um, and of course the abuse of her mother, her siblings, um, and the whatever abuse that she received from her grandmother. Because think about it like this, right? Again, getting back to the archetype, she said that it was mommy dearest, right?
Mhm.
What person feels like their grandmother is mommy dearest and is going to go live with her?
Who
I
wants
don't.
to live?
I'm homeless. I'd rather be living under a bridge than be living with somebody that is mommy dearest in my house. You better be giving me all the drugs. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't even say that because we on YouTube. But I'm just saying, like, the only way you gonna keep me in a house like that is if you got me drugged all the way up. Because I don't need to be able to tell right from wrong, up from down, left from right. I don't need to be knowing none of that
Mhm.
for me to stay around.
Well,
Mm-mm.
I mean, she did talk about her being alcohol dependent by 15, though.
Yeah,
So, you know,
exactly.
I mean,
And, and still, that wasn't enough for her bond to
yeah,
keep.
because she ran away even from the grandmother's house, you
So
know.
what? I tell you,
Yeah.
there was
No,
no bond.
she
The
was
bond,
away.
yeah, the bond
And thank
was
you for whoever
uh
came in. Appreciate you coming in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment as well. We love the interaction. Um, but yeah, so Lisa definitely experienced a lot in her youth. Um, and I mean, when we think about trauma, right? And
mhm,
what that entails, um, it really does impact, your mental health, physical, emotional, financial health, social status, housing, your performance at work, all that stuff, right, is impacted by trauma. Um, and so, she had to go through a lot in her youth. And then, of course, unhealed trauma, it just is a domino effect, for your relationships with everyone else that you encounter in your life after that.
mhm.
Yeah.
And then she also talked about in living with her grandmother, um, and this is where the mental stuff came in, right?
Mm.
Her grandmother would play mind games with her. It went back to the hiding. She would actually hide clothes. Who hides clothes? Who hides clothes? Who hides the iron? Who does stuff like that?
Don't let her wash her hair. Like, come on.
Don't let Listen. Okay, now let's be real. Okay, now when we talk about the washing of the hair, everybody got the grandmother. Okay, well, in the colored community, okay, we all got the grandmother that's like, don't run around in my house because you gonna mess around and raise my light bill.
Everything is the
If you
light bill.
out,
Oh,
you
what?
gonna mess, and raise my light bill. So when she brought up like that she wouldn't let her wash her hair, I was like, okay, she was abusive. I don't know if I would actually say that that part was abusive, only because I feel like that was scarcity mindset
Yeah.
thing where it was like, no, you're not gonna wash your hair. You know how long it takes to wash your hair? Like that's an extra 10 minutes that's in the shower. Whether you have long hair or short hair, if you got long hair, you definitely wasn't gonna wash your hair for at least a good 3 months. Like living in that household, you wasn't gonna wash your hair. Um, but even with Lisa having short hair, she didn't even allow her to wash her hair. But I wouldn't say that to me was technically like a bullying thing, only because like I said, in the colored community, a lot of us have, grandparents, and even parents, depending on how old you are, that they don't even want a lot of people in their house because they think it's going to raise their light bill. Well, how is a lot of people in your house raising your light bill unless you turn it up or turning down the AC? That ain't gonna raise your light bill. How is washing your hair going to raise your light bill unless you are washing your hair every single day, or your water bill unless you're washing your hair every single day and you taking uh 3 hour showers? Yeah, that's gonna raise your light bill. Yep, that's gonna raise your light bill. But other than that, like, no, that's just crazy. But I think that when she said she wasn't able to wash her hair because when she first explained it, she said, her grandmother wouldn't let her wash her hair. I think it was like only once a week or twice a week, or twice a month or something like that. But I think that played more into like the scarcity mindset that her mom had, or her grandmother had, compared to her just wanting to punish her. Now, it was that something underlying, probably because you're already sending the girl with wrinkled up clothes.
Yeah.
So if she walking around looking like she got a whole head full of dandruff because she had to wash her hair because she got nothing but um gel buildup, yeah, you making her look dirty, you doing all that, and that is gonna play with you because we all know that kids are mean and cruel, you
Mhm.
know, especially in junior high. Oh boy, ooh, some, some seventh and eighth graders made me just want to beat them up just for them talking. Like, come over here, let me talk to you real quick, but let me talk to you away from everybody so that nobody can hear you scream.
Well, I'm not promoting violence against children,
I'm
but
just playing. I'm playing.
but I get it,
Um,
I get it, I get it. You know,
but
but
yeah,
yeah,
and it
it was
was
just you could
crazy.
tell the
On
relationship it wasn't a good one.
No, it wasn't. Because she even said that. Now, this is the crazy part too, is that she even said because of what was going on, she didn't elaborate other than what she had said about that part about washing the hair and sending her to school with wrinkled clothes. But she did elaborate on the fact that um, you know, because of this, it was affecting her grades. Now
Yeah.
that knows something, especially if you are a kid that gets good grades. Now
Mm.
she never claimed to have the best of grades, but she was also a creative
Right.
person.
Yeah.
So yeah, her going to school, and she was such a an old soul,
Mm.
um that are you helping me to balance my checkbook? Are you helping me learn about how the real world works? If
Mhm.
you not if you not teaching me the basics um of math, and I'm learning calculus, and nothing about where my life is headed has anything to do with calculus, what am I doing in this class? That don't even make I don't
Right.
I'm doing any of this stuff. I plan on being, a superstar. I plan on being famous. But I do think that had she learned more about the financial part, and she had the right team behind her, they probably wouldn't have went through a lot of the stuff that they went through um as TLC. But that we'll get more into that. But yeah, she went into a whole thing about her grandmother and her leaving, um and how much it impacted her grades, because of how much her grades suffered. um she was put on punishment from one report card to the next, and that impacted her social interactions. Um and um it it definitely made it harder for her to find pleasure in things that most people would find pleasure in. um she also was talking about how, getting back to that case of beer that her dad would bring her. um that was like something that she looked forward to. And she did have a different relationship with her father than the rest of her family, because her brothers and sisters saw the abuse. And because Lisa was the oldest, she was the one that constantly um, comforted them and let them know, hey, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry, everything's going to be okay. She had to be that mother figure when her mother wasn't around because of her father. um, and so she goes into more details about having to um, numb herself to get through the hard times. So she had no um, coping mechanism. She had no coping skills at all. Um, Now, do I blame that completely on her parents? I can't, only because you can't give to your kids what you don't have. Now, do I think that as a parent, when you see that you have received certain treatment because your parents couldn't give you what they didn't have, I feel like that makes you a better person. I think that we can both testify to that. um, that when you lack something, you can go one or two ways. You can follow in that ancestral curse,
Mhm.
or you can go ahead and heal that. And no, that's not going to happen here.
Mm.
um,
Yep, transmute it.
yeah,
Yeah.
transmute it, transcend it, all of that.
Mhm.
And one thing that you could tell that she did, um, and I'm just going to skip a little forward, and then we'll go back. But one thing that I think that she did was, well, one thing that I found very interesting was that her brother and her sister did not go into abusive relationships because of what they saw,
Mhm.
but she had a different relationship with her father. She always, she even protected him even after he passed away.
Yeah.
She didn't talk about him like that. Um, she tried to protect him as much as she could. But with that being said, she found comfort in being with someone that abused her.
Mhm.
And I think that the comfort came from the fact that her father was murdered, and so was her abuser's father. And so they had a trauma bond,
Mhm.
and they were both unhealed, and they were both famous. Um, and But yeah, we'll get back into that. So
Mhm.
now you can go ahead from here.
um, well, so just to get into some of what Lisa experienced growing up, in her parents' household. Well, when we talk about the alcohol dependence, right? and how that can impact the family unit, right? So, we talked about like the financial health of the family. When someone who is alcohol dependent, that tends to impact your ability to reason, which impacts your functioning and making wise choices, right, and decisions. And so, um, with that being said, you know, Lisa's mother touched on the fact that there was a lot of financial insecurities that the family did experience while they were growing up, food insecurities, housing insecurities. I mean, they got kicked off of the base um, of how,
Mm.
in the military, like you got to be doing some foul shit.
What? For real? Because they try to snatch you up. They come up with all sorts of reasons for you to be in the military, for you to get kicked off of the base. But
Yeah,
but that's how you know, like, they really want to keep you, because they got kicked off the base. They didn't kick him out of the army though.
right. And thank you for joining Oh So Shrill. Oh So
Yes.
actually on our last podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
That the
One
way
of our highest
yes, our
ratings and viewed.
and she's such a beautiful spirit. So I'm so glad she's here with us as well. We love
Hmm.
thank you for coming and joining. Thank you for the likes, shares, and comments and everything. Um, but to get back to how alcohol impacts the household, right? Because it is a family disease. Um,
Hmm.
you know, impacts not only the person who's addicted to it, but their spouse, right? Because that level of codependency, that is a word that I'm looking for that is not coming to me, but it's like, oh, enabling. Yeah, that
Mm.
enabling behavior from the spouse, and then the impact of the children. So the children are seeing varying emotions, right? Varying degrees of emotion. So when we think about what I described with the borderline personality disorder, when you are seeing someone um in an unnatural state of being, right? So they're drinking alcohol, that is an unnatural state of being. And so their emotions are all over the place, right?
Hmm.
Mismanaged, uncontrolled, and the kid is seeing this and they're modeling that same behavior when they grow older sometimes, right? Because again, like we said
Hmm.
earlier, transcend, transmute those behaviors. But I did, at least in our research for Lisa, we were seeing that inability to really harness her emotions in a healthy way. She would go from 0 to 100 real quick, go real quick,
Hmm.
like the song said. You know,
Yep. And it
and
was like 0 to 1,000.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Cause
And
I done burned some people's stuff, but I ain't never did it in the house. You ain't. I'm not gonna burn up my stuff. What? Mm-mm. I have a whole ritual when I'm done with you. I'm gonna take all your stuff. I'm gonna bring it outside. I'm gonna bring out the lighter fluid, and I'm gonna say, well, back then I didn't say with love and light. I just said, get the hell out of my life. Um, and don't look back, because you ain't coming back. Um, and I would burn up their stuff, and I would be gone, you know. But that 0 to 1,000, that's where it would be for her, because she wasn't thinking at that time, and she was drinking. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna burn everything that you just bought um in the house that I'm living in.
but let's be fair though, because when we get into it, we get into the more detail of it because it wasn't that she was intentionally burning the house.
No, no, she never. No,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying. That's why I said it's 0 to 1,000, because you know that she wasn't actually thinking when
Yeah.
she
That whole
did
thing.
this. It went from exactly what it went from 0 to 1,000. It wasn't 0 to 100. 0 to 100 is like low key for her. 0 to 1,000, it
Scratch
was
the
more. Yeah, it was more of where she was, because for you to actually think that for you to not think like, maybe I should do this outside, so I don't burn up my place where I'm living. Um, she wasn't thinking. She wasn't thinking about that. She was just angry in her feelings. She didn't have the coping mechanisms, um, or the coping skills. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna burn up everything. And I
Yeah.
don't mean the house, but I just mean like the stuff that she wanted to burn up. She wanted to burn it up, and she wasn't thinking about, let me go outside and let me burn it in a trash can. It was
My
more of
this spirit that sing that song. Spirit ain't nothing but burn, baby, burn.
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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm.
Wrong for that.
Yeah, and she that's how she actually thought about it. Um, but yeah, so um, one thing that I also found very interesting, going back to what what happened, when she was with her grandmother. I just saw it. Um, okay, so her father used to constantly, um, even if they finished getting ready. Um, so she said sometimes, he would wake them up to the point of like, when he came back into the room, you better not put your head back on that pillow. So she would stay sitting up with her eyes, one eye open, and making sure that her head did not hit that pillow. Now, they woke her up at 6, right? She didn't have to be at her bus stop till 7:30. And they would do this thing where one would pack the lunch, the other one would pack the other one would, like, one would pack, hey, live. Um um so hey, guys, I'm on live right now. Like, literally. Yeah, please. Killing me. Killing me. Um the she would, what was I saying? I totally forgot.
Yeah, well, so they were on rotation. So, you know, for the schedule, she would be woken up by
Nalaya.
be on like a
Oh,
15-minute
live.
rotation to get ready in the morning. So while one is in the shower, one is possibly packing their lunch, the other
Yep.
one gets dressed, and then the other one
Yeah.
goes to and they're all on rotation in the
Yeah,
morning.
they're on a rotation. And so, while they were on a rotation, they got so good at this rotation that by 7 o'clock they were ready, right? And the dad would actually make them sit down, and they would ask, like, hey dad, can we sleep a little bit longer? Guys, I am on live right now. Please, you guys are killing me right now. Exactly. So can you just chill just for a second? No, you're like, we can all hear everything on here. Sorry guys. Um, so they were on rotation and all that, right? And so with that being said, she would ask if she could actually, get that extra half an hour of sleep, right? Dad said no. You guys need to sit down and think, think, think. Like, and it's in her documentary. Think, you guys got to think, right? Why did her father emphasize the importance of thinking so much? And while we were doing the uh, the research on this, I couldn't help but wonder, why did he um why was he trying to convey to Lisa and her siblings, um that they needed to develop critical thinking skills? Like, and the only thing that really came to us was, again, he's a drill sergeant and all that other stuff. But why didn't he know how to express that in a healthy manner? Mommy dearest. Okay? I'm sorry. Rest in peace. I know you're gone. Rest in peace. Don't come haunt me. I got ancestors and they don't play. So stay your butt over there. Um, but he would really get on them about, having to really think about what they were doing or whatever. Yo, it's all sorts of craziness, and I think it's because the grandmother's she in here, and I'm about to sage your butt out of my house. Like, you really getting on my nerves. Um, but he would constantly convey that to them. So I think that living under the experience of living under the grandmother and the father's rule for her was more so of like um, living in a pressure cooker. There's
Mhm.
only so much that you can take before you just that's it. It's over, And I think that's one of the reasons why she left. She had no room to express her feelings. If you are a creative person, you have to express your feelings. You really have to express your feelings. Um, and I think that was one of the reasons why she rebelled against so many harsh rules, was because that's how she felt. She felt like she was reaching her breaking point. Go, go. Um, I think she really felt that, she was that was the only way that she could actually express herself. Um, was, being able to um rebel against them. And so for like the remainder of her teenage years, she was, shuttled in between different um households, different family members. And I don't know, I don't know how I feel too much about her aunt Karen Fekwa, because her aunt said, like, I understand, like, her mother was brought up, her brother was brought up, and all this other stuff. But she has said something to the effect of like, um, she ended up kicking her out. It was an article that was found in the I is Right that she was um Wanda actually has said, her mother has said that she lived with her again for very short stints. But she ended up kicking her out for being disrespectful. And her grandmother, Gladys Cheney Field, later did the same. Um, and um, her aunt, Karen Fekwa, co signed on this.
Mhm.
Um, but none of them cared about none of that when they were spending that money, though. But we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that alone. But I just find it crazy that a lot of the stuff that happened at the grandmother's house, because even when her father got stabbed, that happened at her grandmother's house. And this was after she passed away. So I
Mhm.
don't know if that lady's spirit was still in the house. I feel like she in my house right now, because my house is acting all sorts of crazy. And I'm about to let my ancestors loose on you behind. Um, but yeah, like when he got stabbed, it was over an argument that they had, because he would get drunk and belligerent, and he got stabbed, and then, what you had brought up, she ended up taking care of him, and she ended up getting back with him. He used every I think he used everything in the book, and then when he saw that the none of that worked, and then he got stabbed, I think that man saw it as a blessing.
Yeah.
And this is not to speak ill on the dead. I'm just saying, an abuser is an abuser, and if they ain't did no type of work on themselves, mm-mm, they gonna do whatever they can to try and get in. And I think he saw it more as a blessing, because he ended up getting his wife back
Mhm.
um, by the stabbing.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Cause I don't want you back in my life if you want to be back in my life because I got stabbed. Leave me where I'm at. Let me die. Don't come back to me because I got stabbed. I don't want you part of my life. Mm-mm.
Well, it wasn't his doing. He didn't want the marriage to end to begin with from the first time. I mean, she ran away from him, not the other way around.
Yep, that's
Um,
true.
but you know, one thing that we did find in the research too was something that Rain, um, Lisa's sister, said, which was It was actually in the Hopelessly in Love um, special that came on. I can't recall the network that it came on, but he said that Ronald Sr. said that fathers were not supposed to love their children, but they were supposed to discipline them. So that was also his rearing his children. It was like love, but I'm a rule with an iron fist. And obviously, we see how that impacted the trajectory of Lisa's life because it did appear that she was looking for that love in her relationships that she subsequently, became a part of. And her
Mhm.
romantic, yeah.
Yep. Mhm. And one thing that was very interesting in um a book called or titled A Sick Life, Tion T-Boz Watkins, um, she actually states that, a father can make you or break you. And I think that is so true, um, especially in their cases, because all three of them had issues in relationships. Um, you know, no shade, but, Chili's still trying to find love.
Well, she got love. She with somebody now. Don't do that. We don't know. She look happy to me. Listen, I ain't with nobody, so
That don't have nothing to do with
it's
nothing.
hope.
That don't got nothing to do with nothing. You don't got nothing to do with what I just said.
It's hope for the
There is hope.
romantic.
There is hope. But let's be real. The person that she with right now, his career went.
But maybe she don't want that no more. Maybe she realized that, trying to be with someone like that wasn't, for
He
her.
don't work at Burger King or McDonald's or a regular job.
Right, but he ain't on. You said his career went down, so.
His career went down and his money went up when he got back with her.
So you saying he an opportunist?
I ain't say you did.
No, ma'am. That was the
I
implication.
ain't say you did.
That was the implication. I'm not messing with you today, Chi Chi. Also said not the thumbs down. Listen, I'm trying to boost this man up. Chi Chi
Well,
ain't.
boost him up. He needs a boost. He needs a couple boosts cause Chili, she boosting him all the way up, and I don't see no difference other than him going on vacations that she paying for.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord, why?
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, please. We about to be on cheese land for a second, cause y'all
I
know.
know Chili gonna come for me. It's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, there. I mean, listen.
Whatever makes you happy. If she
Yes.
happy, I'm happy.
Me too. If you like it, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cause
Yeah.
she was doing way better with Usher, even with my confessions.
Yeah. But just to go back into the children, right? So Ronald Jr. actually said about his dad um that the father made him afraid of him, um which, and this is me, quoting him. He said, which was kind of put me in a shell for a good portion of my life. With Lisa, it was different. She always expressed herself and felt strongly about what she believed in. I admired her because at that point I couldn't do that. I was too scared of my father. So just imagine the, sheer terror that they grew up in, with someone felt so boxed in that they couldn't be themselves. um, and just to become a shell of who you are, and then have to gain that back when you fly the nest, um, to discover and uncover yourself. So,
Mhm. And this is going to be very controversial what I say, but a lot of things I say are triggering and controversial, and y'all can eat me up in the comments. Um but this is why I feel the way that I feel about uh certain religions that make you fear God. I'm not a God-fearing woman. I'm not. And I will never be, because I don't feel like I can fear God and love him at the same time.
mm,
And there was something that we had watched together. I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about fear and love can't be in the same space.
mm,
So for me, when it comes to certain religions, um I will never say that I'm a God fearing woman. I don't fear no one, including God. And I don't fear God because I don't fear him, not because I think that I'm bigger than God. I just feel like if he loved me like the way that I know that he loves me, why would he want me to fear him? He would want me to go to him. I
mm,
can't go to someone that I fear. And
mm.
that's my own opinion on that, and y'all can eat me up in the comments all you want, but that's how I feel, and I'm gonna
You
speak
know
how I feel.
what it is too is the fear of the law, the universal laws, that we operate in. Um, like especially when we deal with like the karmic cycle. Uh,
Mhm.
People fear that. So but I think they confuse that with God. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, the universal laws, yes, this place operates on laws and principles.
Mhm. They
Like
do. It
natural
really does.
of where we live. And I think people confuse that with God, where, his love is unconditional and
Exactly.
it's nothing to be fearful of. But there's reverence and respect.
Exactly. Which
It's
is different. There's a big
different.
difference with that. There's a big difference with respecting God, um respecting, having that respect and honor for your father, right?
Mhm.
Um Compared to fearing him. I can't fear the same person that I love that loves me unconditionally. Cause you don't love me unconditionally if you gonna tell me if you do this, this, and this, you going to hell. Well then listen, I'm on the first flight, first class on my way to hell because that I know I know I done did some stuff. And they ain't enough Hail Marys, Our Fathers, Jesus. None of that's gonna save me from God's conditional love when He say, "Now you're not good enough to be here." Well, then what you created me for? Because you knew I wasn't gonna be nothing when I got here. You knew what you created.
Girl,
You
I'm
knew
dead.
I was gonna be a monster.
Uh-uh.
But but I have taken time to get myself together or whatever. But anyways, that's besides the point. Let's get back to Lisa.
Yeah, so come back in here. um, yeah, so I mean, even with, parents getting back together, um, it didn't and he I'm sorry. It's not funny. But so he tried to put that, I'm saved, girl. I got my life together.
See, I'm not playing with you because see, I'm get eaten up in the comments just for what I said, and then you over. I'm not
Man,
playing
I'm
with
jumping
you.
right behind you. Get
and
it
and
up.
then you gonna be the one that they look at like, oh, she only said that because this one went all the way to the left, and the devil don't ever stop working. He always doing something, and look, she just dragged her with her. Like, no, no, let's
I'm
make
saying
that very clear. She said that all by herself.
in the research that we did, that's what he said. He got saved. He got himself together. Um, and that's what the mom, Wanda spoke of. She said
Hmm.
he got saved and she believed him. but he pretty much didn't change. The fight started all again. He was just a dogmatic person. Um, and
And Rain said it too.
yeah,
Rain.
their his mother. Um,
Mhm.
so Miss Chaneyfield was the one who would try to insert herself into their marital spats, and so this is where the division came. This is where these there was a so many subsets of issues within the family, um, based on this relationship. You know,
Mhm.
um, which created a lot of division. But anyway, so just to kind of fast forward a little bit, so we have a really good picture of where Lisa came from, what her upbringing was like, um, how she began to formulate her personality, and even the archetype she had to create for herself, um, to really cope with her life.
Yep.
Um, there's Lisa, right? And then Left Eye was created, as a member of this group, which we'll get into. Um, but she has some other archetypes that were later created as well.
Mhm. And in the um where Lisa actually is the narrator of the documentary of the last days of Lisa Left Eye. She actually says, which makes a lot of sense, why she was like so strong, was because of her mindset. So she actually says, every time there is a struggle, it is nothing but a preparation for what is yet to come. So she was very goal oriented, and she set very high standards for herself. One of them being to rule the world one day. And she said that jokingly. I don't know if she was joking when she said it, but she said it jokingly. Um,
Well, I'll tell you
and
one thing, when we start working on this project, many a time she joked us up, and you know what I'm saying? She's here in an ethereal, ethereal realm, but she's still controlling the narrative.
yep,
You know what I
sure.
mean?
Because I was
And
like, where are you going? Why haven't you worked on this? Go.
She came into my meditation one day. I couldn't believe it. She came into my meditation one day and like kicked me, like, listen, what are we doing here? Why are we working on this
Well,
project?
I could have kicked her back when we was having all them technical issues, and I was like, "Lisa, help me, help me, help me, help
Nah,
me."
that was her payback for us doing this so late. But we're doing it now. We're doing it now. You
Yeah,
know.
we doing it now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But she has very strong energy though.
Mhm.
And her aura is like orange and blue. So that's what I see a lot when I see her around. Her energy is like very palpable. And she's playful though.
Mhm.
Take
Very playful,
stuff a
very,
little bit.
very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her. I love her energy when she comes around me. I was literally, there was one part where where I was doing the editing, and there was uh there was a part where she like crossed her eyes, and she like had her mouth like, and just, and the whole time I'm like, why is it not going? And I kept pressing the button, and and I sent it to you. It lasted like, uh I want to say like 3 minutes. And I was like, girl, now you done pulled my ear, you done yanked me out of bed, you done did all this stuff, and now you playing when I'm trying to do the editing. Okay, are we playing? Or are we doing the editing? Because I want you to stop harassing me. But she is very she's a jokester, and I loved it because when she did that, I was like, okay, like, it made me feel better. Like, okay, so she ain't completely mad at us.
Nah, she, she's not. I think she was frustrated, but she's happy.
Hmm.
It's done. But yeah, I can feel her presence around me now, um, as we get this done. But
Hmm.
I mean, talked y'all heads off, and it's been, and 109 minutes we've been
Yeah.
on here, and we ain't even halfway through. So we'll obviously get more information out to you guys. in the next couple days.
Yes, and one of the things that she really believed in, real quick, was like manifestation. Now, she didn't actually say manifestation in
Mhm.
what she was talking about, but she did say that she's one of those people that she believes in something to the fullest, and she believes it from her heart. And hey, strange things happen,
Mhm.
and that's what it was. She literally went to Atlanta with $700 in her pocket. She thought that that was going to last forever, because when we that age, we think, what, $700? What? I'm a millionaire.
Right.
Knowing dang well we just said $700. Where you
Right.
got a million from?
It's
Nowhere.
a lot of money.
But yeah, and again, she had told her sister before she had left. So real quick, in the eye is right, her aunt, Karen Feck, was stated, she lived with her prior to going to Atlanta. She used to dance on stage, and like I said previously, it did not matter what part of the show she was part of, as long as she was part of the show. And one of the rappers, um, she used to dance on stage with at the club, called Second Cousins. Um, they would have rappers and beatboxes and talent shows or whatever. And she tried out for someone's video. She was actually picked for this video. And Lisa left Philly to go to Atlanta, with this person, Lorenzo. And um, she only had that $700, but like she has stated, she believes in her stuff, to the fullest. She knew she was going to be famous. And with that being said, with stardom in her mind and a few dollars in her pocket and her keyboard in her hand, in 1990, at 18 years old, well, she left when she was 17, but at that time she was 18. um, Lisa had enough of what she had went through, with her family, and she decided to go to Atlanta, and she made Atlanta her new home. Um, Now, what I found interesting was that there was like some um, mixed up information, because some people say that she had, well, she said that she had $700 in her pocket. Other people said that they never got paid for the video, so she didn't get to do any, she didn't get to have that money or whatever. And because of that, Lorenzo actually went back, and so did his manager, because they were disappointed that they weren't paid. But she stayed, and in that movie that they made with Little Mama and Kiki Palmer, and I forgot who the other girl was. But in that movie, you see her dancing, and she's got her piano or her keyboard, and she's got a donation. Now, another thing that was crazy was that um, she would actually, because she didn't have a place to live, she would go to Jermaine Dupri's house and sleep in his closet while his mom was asleep. And before his mom woke up, she would he would kick her out, like, hey, you gotta go, you gotta go. So she didn't actually like live, under, she was homeless, but she didn't live like under a bridge or anything like that. Jermaine Dupri did let her stay with him, while she got herself together, because Jermaine Dupri did believe in himself too, and he was developing Crisscross.
Mhm.
And so while he was developing them, he could see that she was fated to be in the limelight, so he wanted to help her. So he would let her stay in his house, um, to sleep, and then she would have to leave in the morning, which I thought was like so dope. Like, you
Mhm.
didn't even know her, but you gave her that chance.
Yeah,
So
that was really, really dope of him to. take her in like that. Um,
Mhm.
I can only imagine, like, middle of the night, damn, I gotta use the bathroom. Like, I can't.
Girl, what? You gotta go outside. You gotta use leaves to wipe your butt,
Like, I
or
just,
you gotta sneak him in the bathroom and
right.
do your thing. Like I don't know how that worked, but she did it and she got to where she wanted to be. You
Yep.
know, um,
But
and it
that's
was because of that
wise.
relationship. Um, she actually was able to meet up with different people in the industry, which I guess we'll get more into in the next part of it, because like you said, we got some of it. We just got to her being 18. We haven't even touched
We just
the surface. We just let you know a little bit about her and stuff that y'all didn't know. But let me tell you, on the next one, we're gonna tell you all sorts of stuff. That tattoo, y'all
mm,
ain't know about that. Yep, we got that. We got them receipts too.
her and Andre. And what I do find interesting, and we're gonna get into this when we do the next one. Um, and it's so funny, like the more time that passed, more stuff was coming out. Like as we were researching, more projects were coming out. So the project that came on Lifetime with T-Boz and Chili, and accounting for, like following them from, what happened in the beginning up to them going on their tour and stuff like that. That came out after we started our project. And then
Yep,
just as recent as yesterday, I saw that Andre Rison had his own documentary on Tubi, and I think it's called Bad Moon. And I don't remember the rest of the title, but you guys can look it up as well. But what I found interesting about that one was that
mhm.
the cover for the movie had a picture of Left Eye with his number superimposed into her face, and then him above her. And I'm like,
Wait. That's the new one that you was telling me about,
yes, it just came out.
girl. If that man gonna leave that girl alone,
It just came out in 2023.
clout is a drug for real.
I was like, this man. So
You had a whole career.
a little preview, okay, of what's to come in the next video. But this man already got married to another woman after he
Named what?
already passed away, and her name's Lisa Lopez.
Lisa Lopez,
Lisa
y'all.
Lopez, y'all.
Lisa
So we'll
Lopez.
get into that. But we'll get more into, how she started her career with TLC and projects and things like that she was working on at that time. And then we'll get into her love life that everybody wants to know about.
Yes,
And
because
so,
that in itself is gonna be.
right, that might be its own episode because that was a lot. But
That
yeah,
was a lot.
we'll get into it. But
Mhm.
yeah, so that's just what's more to come. So wrap it on up for me, sis.
Yes. So again, please, like, comment, subscribe, share. Um, we appreciate all the interactions. Even if you eat me up in the comments, I'm okay with that as long as there's some type of interaction. um, but yes, thank you for sharing this time with us. We have a lot of projects right now that we are working on. And we're super excited because this was our first year in business and we paid our taxes.
Happily, so that we can return to.
Happily, happily, happily paid our taxes. Okay, okay, yes, very, very happily, happily. Um, and I just want to say, I just I thank God so much for bringing Rashida into my life, and us becoming best friends. And I love you so much. And you know a lot of people say that you shouldn't put business with your friends or with your family. And I don't think that's always the truth. I think that you just need to have discernment with who you should go into business with.
Mm.
Um, and I made an amazing decision, um, because I didn't think twice about signing our contract.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I'm just so happy that you are my business partner, and we are working on so many beautiful things. Y'all don't even know what we about to come out with. Okay, okay,
But
we got a lot of stuff
us,
in the works.
us.
We got a lot of stuff in the works,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I'm gonna get it together, okay? Because the next time that we do this, I'm definitely going to be pulling the clips and everything, and even if it takes me 2 days to get all this done, because I'm gonna need at least 48 hours. I'm
Yeah.
gonna need the whole 48 hours.
If we're gonna be doing it live or if we're gonna be recording it and then putting the clips in, because we haven't found the so if anybody can comment and let us know how to actually do a live using our laptops as opposed to our phones. So if you guys have any tips
Actually,
about how to do
on it because Google love, YouTube love
that.
say this and that. Oh yeah, you can do this, this, and this. Yeah, we were supposed to start this at 5. It's,
Yeah,
we've been on here for 2 hours,
right. Yeah.
and
So,
I instructions. I don't want to hear. Oh, you wasn't following it. I was following all the instructions more, and it still didn't work out. So
yeah,
please,
it didn't quite work out for us. So yeah, if you guys know how to have us do that, we would be so grateful and thankful to you for posting it in the comments about how to actually go live and add another guest on your live and still be able to stream from your laptop.
yes, and again, I just want to thank you know, Rashida for being my business partner, um, teaching me how to actually be a friend, showing me that unconditional love that um, I never had before in a friendship, and opening the door to allow more people into my life that um, I feel like I can trust and be vulnerable with. Um, and so, with that being said, thank you so much for spending this time with us. You
Yeah.
know,
Done the same for me. I don't want to. I got to give you your flowers too, girl. Love you.
love you too. Um, but yes, we're gonna keep going, and this is not the only one we're gonna do. We're gonna do other lives too, where we do a little bit of gossiping and stuff.
She gonna
It don't hurt to do
gossip.
a little
And
gossiping. It don't hurt a little bit. So we're gonna be doing a little bit of gossiping too, because in what we do, outside of our jobs and our business, life is like so serious for us that I need the light in the dark. So if the dark is the gossiping that we gonna be doing, I'd rather do it like that. You know what I'm saying? And have fun with it. So thank you so much for sharing this time for us. I just want to just do like a quick prayer for y'all. Um, and then close it out. So everyone that's here, everyone that's with us, if you feel called to, go ahead and bow your head. I just want to thank everyone that is here with us, that has come across this video, that has watched this with us. I thank you so much for your support. I ask that God continue to give you the wisdom, the guidance that you need to move forward, to let you know that there is no such thing as limitations. There's only the limitations that you believe in your heart, that will stop you from going after the dreams that that you have, and that that you can um, accomplish, because our dreams don't come from us. Our dreams come from the divine, and If the divine did not believe that we were able to do these dreams, we wouldn't have them. So for anyone that's out there that's doubting themselves, that is going through a hard time, understand that, this too shall pass. um I know it's hard when you're going through depression. I know it's hard when you've lost someone. I know it's hard when you just feel like your life is falling apart and you just felt like you just got your life together. So anyone that's going through any of those things, my heart goes out to you. I send you nothing but love and light. I love you so much. Even if I don't know you, I love you. Even if you hate me, I still love you. I just love you at a distance,
Mm,
like
right.
sun to Pluto. Okay, at that type of distance. But yes, I just ask God just to continue to give you grace, to bless you beyond measures, and to give you the strength and bravery to keep moving forward. Um, and know the power that you have within yourself, and not be scared of the power that you have within yourself. Understand that that power was given to you because God trusted you with that power. And to not use that power um, for the greater good is an abuse of power, whether you
Mhm.
believe that or not. It is an abuse of power. So I just ask that you continue to move forward, that you are blessed beyond measures, and um, yeah, you just come back and you see us. You know what I'm saying? Just show us a little bit of love. Be with us. Be with us. You know. But with that being said, I love y'all. I thank you so much for being there for us. I thank you for having us hit that 2,300 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Like I really appreciate that. We really appreciate that. And we going up. We going up. It takes time, but we going up. And we gonna get it together.
And we're gonna get
Um,
more consistent, as
yes.
we ascend, right?
Yes.
We have to face so many challenges, and and it's adversity doesn't
Oh wait, I'm so sorry. Amen. Okay, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, sis. I thought yeah, I was back. Apologize. Sorry. But yes, but as you ascend, you encounter so many obstacles and things that you have to overcome. And sometimes spirit will sit us down and we don't even know why we're being sat down, but we will literally get knocked clean out, like, okay, go to sleep. Child, go to sleep.
Yep.
And so it's not that we don't want to be consistent, it's that we are also still ascending spiritually.
Oh, you cut. Okay, I think that she has cut off. I don't know if that's her internet. But what she was just explaining was that um, you know, we've been going through a lot through this ascension process. It's a lot of wounds that come up that we have to deal with. And she's gonna get so mad at me, but I'm just laughing so hard at the face that she got right now because I know how she is. And when she realized that she was frozen like that for this long and I can't edit it out, she gonna be so mad. But yeah, so we've been going through a lot through this ascension process, and just know that we're definitely trying to be more consistent.
Yeah. Well, my
Girl,
battery had
wait, I gotta
died.
tell you something because you gonna get so mad after you watch it. So I
Oh
was
Lord.
laughing because I was
Mhm.
like, I don't think she realized like the face that you was stuck on, and your eyes was cross-eyed, and your tongue was sticking out to the side.
That's funny though. I was looking crazy.
Nah, you wasn't looking crazy, but I know how you are a perfectionist, and I was like, "Oh, she gonna get so mad after she done with this. She gonna be like, nope, we not doing no more live. We gonna do the edit. We gonna do the edit because now I can't edit that part out."
Nah, but yeah, my battery, and it's so funny. While you were doing the prayer, right? I was like, my battery fitting to die. I already knew because it had already warned me that it was at like 10%, like a half hour ago, and I was like, yeah, it's about to die. It's about to die.
But yeah, I was just uh going off of what you was explaining,
Mhm.
during this ascension process, a lot of things come up so that it can be healed.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't realize like how much it's going to affect us, and it will literally put you on your behind
Yep.
for weeks.
Yep.
And you got a whole bunch of projects going on, and you keep looking at your deadline, and you just move the deadline over.
Yeah. Dead just be deading.
Dead is it's just dead. It's dead. But yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you guys for being here with us, and we really are trying our hardest to um be more consistent. It's just that ascension be ascending like
Yeah.
zoom.
Be lit, lit, lit. Be real lit.
But thank you so much for spending this time with us. We love you guys so much. And we
Thank
will see you in
you.
the next one. We are definitely going to do this again. It's probably going to be next Saturday. If we can do it earlier before that, we will. But if you have any idea how to do this with us doing it on the computer, so I can put up the clips on us doing it, whether it's us getting some type of uh camera or something that we need to add to our system, because we got a whole, if you would see my system right now, I got 4 screens, laptop, hub, everything. Why
And
ain't
we
it
and
working?
we're using our
Don't make no
phones right
sense.
now.
Don't make no sense. Don't make no
So
sense.
yeah, we're trying to figure out how not to use our phones because we both have laptops and stuff that we can use.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
and ain't nothing wrong with using a phone. That's how you all start. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, we love you guys, and we will see you hopefully in the next couple days. If I can get this up running before then yeah, it will definitely be in a couple days. If I can't, then it's gonna be next Saturday. We will see you next
Yeah.
Saturday.
Love you
Love you
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.